Hello there, Aries. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are taking a peek at your energy today. We're just going to see what's going on with you, and then we're going to see what is the best way to navigate what's going on with you and see what else might happen to show up along the way. I am a psychic tarot reader. I've been doing this work since 2013. And I do offer private readings if you happen to be interested in that. All my contact information and reading information, all that good stuff, is on the website at the top of the screen. Let's jump in and see what's going on with you, Aries. Oh, and while I'm putting cards down, by the way, I do a group meditation every morning on Zoom, 5 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. If you're interested in being part of a group meditation and getting your day going in such a fantastic way, please feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is on my website, and I will send you the link so that you can join us. All right, let's see what we have for what's going on in your life. Oh, we've got some. Okay, let's just jump in here. We're going to talk about each of these cards, and then I'll look at, what's the 30,000 foot view of this. So we're starting off with the Three of Swords here. Generally talks about heartache, heartbreak, something that, we don't generally feel very good about. We also have the Ace of Swords coming up in reverse, and also that side, which, by the way, I'm using the vice versa tarot. So you can see there's no back on these cards. So there's just this side and that side. So we've got that side reversed of the Ace of Swords. Next, for what we have going on with you, oh my goodness, we have that side of the Magician showing up in reverse. Excuse me. And we have that side of the Fool also showing up in reverse. That's interesting. Well, we've got a lot of that sides. I think we're talking about something in the past, Aries, that has resulted in a heartache. The only thing facing this side towards us is the Three of Swords. So last card for what's going on in your world right now, we have the Two of Wands in reverse, Two of Wands in reverse, and that side. Okay, so for me, this side, which is generally what I would consider to be the traditional front of a tarot card, and a lot of times it's daylight. To me, talks about things that are happening in the present or that are coming forward in the future. If I'm seeing that side, a lot of times this tells me we're looking at something that has happened from the past. So it's really interesting how Spirit has put this in here for you as your spread, with your first card being my only present tense or future tense card. I'm going to say probably present tense. What you're going through right now is some kind of heartache or sadness. Why are you going through this heartache or sadness? Well, I think the rest of these cards are telling me why, because these are past cards, so these would have led up to this. First of all, with this Ace of Swords that shows up in reverse in the past, this talks about the idea that you tried to give somebody some good information, some good advice, maybe even some, not just advice, but actual helpful information. Maybe you tried to refer somebody for a job or recommend them or something like that. Nothing physical just flew by the camera. That was the oddest thing. I'm glad I cleared the space before I started the video. I know whatever it is can stand in the light. All right, so let's move on. So you tried to pass along some good information to somebody in your past. We've got with that Magician showing up in reverse. I don't think that person took that information and did anything good with it. In fact, I think they may have just completely ignored that information. So I think you were trying to be helpful, or at the very minimum, you were trying to be informative. Although I really think you were trying to be helpful in passing along this information. This other person really didn't do anything with that information, or if they did anything with it, they misconstrued it and they twisted it up. And so whatever their follow through was really off base, considering what you said to this person. Okay, so that's part of the lead up to the heartache that we've got here. Afterwards, what we saw is that you still wanted to help this person. So this is a longer story. This is more than one chapter here. And you kind of thought about this. You kind of really looked and examined this situation, and you thought, oh, is this worth me putting my energy and my effort into moving forward to help this person? It doesn't seem like much is coming out of it. And I think that you found something encouraging about this. I'm hoping that you did. Common sense would say that you did, because at the end of the day, you decided to keep going forward with trying to give this person good, solid information that they could use to move forward productively and happily in their lives. And here we have the Two of Wands in reverse, and also that side. So once again, this is in the past. This says that you kind of felt like you had to. This says that even though you reevaluated whether you should keep going with trying to give help to this person, you felt obligated in some way. Maybe you felt like, well, I've already invested this much time and energy or this much breath to tell them things. It would be a shame to walk away from all the effort that I've invested here. So maybe I don't want to walk away from this. This last card just says you didn't feel like you had a choice, really. Like you did have a choice, but you really didn't feel like any of the other choices that you could see were reasonable, other than to continue to try to help this person that seemed to be either intentionally or just through a series of unfortunate events botching the help that you're trying to give them. Okay, so we see why we have the card that talks about broken hearts or sadness here. I think you could be frustrated more than having a broken heart, some of you, that everything that you've invested into this person's success doesn't seem like this person is invested in their success. And it doesn't seem like it's taken anything forward. So I think that's where your broken heart is. I think you're seeing all the potential that this person has, and you're also seeing that they're not trying to work with their own potential. They are perfectly happy to stay right in their unambitious little spot, whatever that may be. Okay. I thought I had lipstick on my teeth. Let's look at the best way for you to navigate this situation. And by this situation, we're talking about the heartache that has come out of trying to help this person that doesn't really seem to be interested in being helped. Oh, wow. Okay. 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 I don't think that this is the easiest advice to follow, so please understand when I give it to you. You have free will. You get to do what you want to do, and that's fine. First of all, we have a heads up that this person that you're trying to help is somebody who has strong narcissistic tendencies. They're corrupt, they're warped, and they can be kind of manipulative. They'll kind of do just about anything to get somebody to do what they want them to do. And a lot of times somebody with strong narcissistic tendencies, you don't know that right away. Because what's actually going on originally is that this person, seems like salt of the earth. Where I come from, we would call them good people. In Missouri, if somebody was that salt of the earth, solid, reliable person that we could count on, a part of the community that was an upstanding pillar, those were good people. So even if it was one, we still called them good people. Don't ask me why. I think that for most people, this person seems like good people, seems like salt of the earth. It's only as you get to know them better that you start to see some of these things that are not so great about them. All right. And so this next card that you have, excuse me. My apologies. This next card that you have, the Ten of Wands, talks about taking accountability for yourself. This is an interesting card because it implies a lot to me. So in the tarot, there's what the cards say, there's what the cards don't say, And there's what the cards imply. And this is an implication that you have been trying so hard to help this person that you haven't really been taking care of yourself. You haven't been taking responsibility for you. And so this card is saying it's time to get back to being responsible to yourself. You know, I believe that we're all spirits that have a body, and that body is our tool to help us express out into the world. But if we're not taking care of that body, if we're not taking care of that brain, then the tool gets worn out. Just like an old saw that never has oil put on the blade. And it gets worn out faster. So this is really saying take some accountability and start looking out, start thinking of yourself and what are your priorities. That it's not good to have your whole world wrapped around this person, especially when I can see right here, you're just feeling obligated. You're feeling like you don't have any other choices when you clearly do. But you're feeling like you don't. So it's time to start taking more responsibility for yourself here. All right. 6 of Pentacles coming up in reverse. It's time to start evening things up and paying some things off. It's time to start getting yourself into a better financial situation. So whatever you can pay off or pay back, you want to start doing that with the 6 of Pentacles. Which makes me wonder, are you reliant somehow on this person that you were trying to help? Because we see that part of the advice here is getting into a better financial situation. And then we have the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Once you've got yourself into a better financial situation, then you can drop the things that are not priorities. You know, so you want to start being responsible, taking care of yourself, taking care of your finances. If you have some debts, you want to pay them off. You want to get yourself on a better financial platform so that you feel more solid in general. And then instead of juggling everything all the time, you can drop some of the things that aren't as important to you as the other things. And once you've done that, that buys you some time to really consider, you know, what you have been doing, what you need to do. And our last card here talks about making a decision. And this is making a decision because you haven't been paying attention to what you want or what you need. It's time to start doing that. It's time to start being accountable for yourself. Pay anything off that you can. Also start taking good care of you. Let go of things that aren't priorities. And now decide, which way do I want to go in my life? What do I want to pursue? Do I want to pursue another really fantastic relationship? Do I want to pursue a career goal? Do I want to pursue being grandma or grandpa? What do I really want to pursue? And this talks about making that decision. So we're really looking at going from being wrapped around this person that refuses to have any help to, in the end, making a decision about what do I need to do for me? If this person doesn't need help, I need to be taking care of me because I'm depleting myself trying to help somebody who doesn't want the help. And so that final card is this idea of making a decision. Well, I figured out now what I prioritize. I've got myself in a better situation financially. What do I really want to do moving forward? What are my priorities? Not what are the things that will make this other person happy, but what are my priorities? And if they happen to align with making the other person happy, there's nothing wrong with that. We're not going to throw any options off the table just because they make somebody else happy too. But it has to be something that really makes you happy as well. Because what happens when we're not happy? We're not just in a cubicle, solitary, alone, not happy. We're around other people. We're contagious. Wouldn't it be better to be contagious about being happy? All right, let's look and see if there's anything else Spirit wants to say before we wrap up this reading. See what we get. Be careful about the things that this person is saying that you're kind of wrapped up with. Sometimes they're not true. Sometimes they don't even know they're not true. They just know part of the story, and then they take off like gung-ho, talking about it, taking action on part of the story, and then later on they realize the rest of the story, and they're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Now they're looking for somebody to scapegoat or somebody to take the blame for their silliness. You want to try and stay away from that. Okay? Now, Four of Swords in reverse. You've basically had some time to rest, is what Spirit's saying. Now it's time to get back in the action. All right? When you have the Four of Swords right side out, this is a little bit of a different depiction than otherwise. This almost looks like a king here. But generally on a tarot deck, you're going to see the Four of Swords. You're going to see somebody that is resting with some stained glass behind them, four swords around them. One of them is actually under their back, where they can grab a sword if they need to and start defending themselves or start fighting if they need to immediately. It generally talks about taking a break, taking a rest, but also while they're resting and rejuvenating, knowing that they're also regrouping. They're going to have to go back into the fight. Okay? And you can kind of see with this card, like there's definitely some fighting in the background if you look behind those swords out through the window. He's taking a nap. There's a fight going on. Now, you've got this in reverse. This basically says you've had some time to reinvigorate yourself. You've had some time of not doing much. That time is over. The time to not do much is over. It's time to take some action. Okay, what action are you taking? Being responsible and accountable to yourself and for yourself. Paying off anything that you can pay off so that you can let go of some of these things that aren't priorities, and you can make a decision about what you really want to do moving forward in life rather than being swept along by circumstances or the wants and needs of other people. And then we have our Seven of Wands as our last card coming up here. And this just talks about that this is really a vulnerable time that you're going through right now. And so it's super important to keep your head up, to keep your attitude good, to keep that gratitude going whenever you can keep that gratitude going, so that you can engender luck to follow you, opportunities to come into you, because you have such a magnificent attitude. Okay? So when somebody really knows how to manifest using their attitude, when this card comes up that says, oh, you're vulnerable, it also says this is the motivation to get you off your derriere and get you out there doing what you need to do. So that's what I'm expecting. And part of doing what you need to do has to do with that attitude and making sure that attitude's in a good place. The more we can allow ourselves to feel good or feel happy, more things that Spirit can bring us that feed into that feeling of goodness or happiness. Okay? So that's what I have for you, Aries. Thank you very much for stopping by and hanging out with me. I appreciate you all so much. Everybody have a fantastic day. Peace out.